Hey guys, welcome into the reaction show to the Tennessee Kentucky game. Man, I wish we could come in here drinking from the keg of glory, but we are not. We laid a kind of a egg tonight against the Wildcats. They came down out of the coal mines today, and they walked in to the Tommy Bowl, and they made themselves a sandwich and left the cheese wrapper on the floor and walked right out. Hate to see Dalton Connect go out like that with a loss, but man, what an all-time performance as far as scoring. 40 plus point night for Dalton Connect. That was probably the brightest spot of tonight. We just didn't have an answer in that first half for anybody on Kentucky's team that was wearing blue. And guys, I got to get your thoughts here before we bring in Kyle, the Kentucky fan, so he can let us know, what he's going to tell us. What are your thoughts, Andrew? I can see it all over your face. Not happy with today's performance.
Well, I kind of have a mixed feelings about this. Like, they definitely could have played better. Very sloppy to start out. They sort of got into this mind game of playing or matching how Kentucky's playing. And in my opinion, that's never good. Trying to sort of go into that three-point shooting contest or that fast-paced. It's like how so many NBA teams sort of crumble playing the peak Steph Curry Golden State Warriors. You try to play the jack-up three game. Well, they're the best at it. And Kentucky today came in firing from the three. But really, I felt like despite all that, we were close, and really good to see that last minute sort of fake comeback there. And even though that didn't actually result in a comeback, I thought that was a good practice for March, because I feel like we see these kind of games in March Madness all the time where they just kind of shoot like shit and they just put themselves in a unclimbable hole. And typically this team doesn't climb out of it, but I felt like at least they showed glimpse of it, playing defense and sort of causing turnovers and things like that. At the very end, again, they were too late, but I thought, so that's a positive. Really just also obviously you can't, sort of sit here and say Kentucky didn't beat us flat square, and they did, killed us from the three. But also looking at Tennessee, they also made 12 3-pointers. It's just that they jacked up even more threes than Kentucky, trying to match their hot streak from the three. So I felt like despite Dalton Connect and Zakai making a bunch of threes in the second half, I just felt like that wasn't the correct way to go about this going into a shootout. Also just a lot of missed free throws, which I felt was could have been a difference. Like if we were within two or within one at the very end, but instead we missed 6 free throws, and whereas Kentucky almost perfect all night except at the very end. So overall, obviously, it's not a happy, satisfied result, when you're the favorite at home and all that. But I do want to take some positives out of it, which was the second half adjustments.
Naveen, you got anything, man? you gotta take it out. Move it back a little bit. We saw it there at the beginning. Dang.
Yeah. Well, it says fire Rick Barnes. Throw a shout out back to our friend Kyle, who's coming up. A little flashback for our longtime listeners, but yeah, I think we weren't prepared today. Obviously, Kentucky played really well. They shot 50% from three, almost 90% from free throw. They were blocking everything that came their way first half. Really, I don't think the score is as reflective of how bad of a beatdown this was. Like they choked basically 8 points at the last 2 minutes and a half. Should have been a 10-point game, honestly. Obviously, there's no should have been scores, right? The score is the score, but really, I wouldn't feel like, oh man, this was a close game. It was close because they did retarded shit in the last 30 seconds. But otherwise, it would have been much, much more. I thought that, if we didn't have Dalton Connect, man, how much would we have lost this game by? 25, 30? So those are my thoughts. Like real simple, like good old fashioned beatdown from Kentucky.
Yeah, I agree. Not so much with the Fire Rick Barnes sign, but definitely with your take on if Dalton Knecht doesn't have an absolutely just historic night scoring tonight. Yeah, Tennessee's getting embarrassed and ran out of there worse than they were. So I want to get a little bit of different perspective. We had Kyle on last night's podcast. He was on date night. He was fighting the cell tower, the one cell phone tower in the state of Alabama last night for all the bandwidth that was being used by the folks down in the trailer parks in South Alabama. But anyway, he's here tonight. I think he's got a satellite internet connection, and he'll be able to give us a little bit of a Kentucky's perspective and kind of like, what they thought coming into the game. Obviously, he predicted that Kentucky was going to come in and win. But that's not a news flash to any Tennessee fan to hear from a Kentucky fan. They always think that. But kind of get his thoughts where he sees both of these teams going, Kentucky and Tennessee, while we continue on into March. So without further ado, Kyle, the Kentucky fan, welcome into the show, brother.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
Big win. Happy we were able to pull it out there at the end. Kind of scared me at the end there a little bit. I don't know what the hell we were doing. But from the get-go, I think after we took the lead at I think it was 4-3. Y'all may have been up 6-4 or 4-3. We never looked back. So I think Kentucky went in, and I think our mindset was let Knecht do whatever he wants and shut everybody else down. And that's what happened tonight. So, and I just, for you guys, I hope that, other teams looking at tonight's game that y'all could have somebody else come in and score for you guys besides just Knecht, especially going into the SEC tournament and NCAA tournament. Because I feel like that's how teams are going to play you guys, is let Knecht do whatever he wants and hope that we can just keep everybody else at bay. But big win, great way to end the regular season. Locked up the 2 seed in the SEC tournament. So if the only time we're going to see you guys again would be a SEC championship game, which would be another awesome experience. Another good game, I think. So, but like I said last night, I think it was going to be a good game. We have so many shooters, and we were on. Edwards was lighting it up in the first half, and then Reeves and Shepard went crazy in the second half. Shot 70% from the 3-point line tonight, just making huge shots. And he's done that all season long. Just typical white boy from Kentucky with the 3-point line, just nailing them all day long. So,
yeah, well, he's better than a typical white boy from Kentucky. I think he's projected to be a top 5, top 10 draft pick. So.
Yeah, he's there. Yep, top 5 draft pick for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Kentucky legacy. His daddy was there in the 90s, and I remember watching him play even back then when I was a kid in middle school. So, yeah, man, I thought it was going to be a bit of a coin toss. I thought we would at least cover, with the 9 points or 9.5 that it was. So my lock of the week, sorry, guys. But, I really don't feel too bad. I think Tennessee was kind of its own worst enemy. We couldn't get out of our own way today, especially defensively. It's just like, I don't know, to your point last night, if this played a factor or not, whether it was the emotions of senior day, especially like you look at Santiago Vescovi, good grief.
He didn't show up.
And that's been a common theme for him offensively, but typically he'll lock down on defense. But just if this was my senior day, especially my second one, and I had a performance like that, man, I would not be happy with myself, to say the least.
No, I don't think Tennessee country is happy with him right now.
No, absolutely not. Like there's no reason we missed little bunny layups. We turned the ball over with him a few times tonight. Got beat, given straight line, drives to the fucking basket all night long, and it's just like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? This is not the Vescovi that we're used to seeing. I mean, me and Naveen were kind of talking about it before we got on this reaction. It's like, you bring in a guy, a prolific scorer like Dalton Connect, just a great all around player to couple that with, what Santiago was doing, what Triple J was kind of doing before, and what Zakai does. And then you see Santi's offensive production is almost down like 80% this season. It's like I acknowledge the fact that there's obviously going to be some shots that are taken away from the guy because you bring in Dalton Connect. It's like that big of a drop off.
Yeah.
And it's a consistent night in, night out, just bad performance. I mean, he didn't even have a field goal against South Carolina. He shot 2 free throws, so that's how he had 2 points.
And nothing today.
Yeah, nothing. So we're talking about this guy's went almost 3 or 4 games of like he's shooting like single digit percentage from the field right now. So yeah, man, we got to fix that going into March. So I know you talked about the SEC tournament a little bit. I don't know that Tennessee. I know on to Nashville, like that should kind of be our mindset. Kind of snap and clear, nod to the football reference there. But I really don't think that Tennessee really cares about the SEC tournament. And Naveen, I think we watched on their podcast, the one that they do on the couch. It's kind of weird the way they got that. It's almost like they're on a casting couch or something. But anyway, it's kind of weird. Love it. I love the guys, but it was kind of an odd way to do that. But anyway, they were talking about how, yeah, it's more important to them that they won the regular season and they're really not into it. So, yeah, I think we probably go in, maybe win our first game, but then wrap it up after that. I don't really think we're into it. But what do you forecast Kentucky and Tennessee doing in the big dance? Where do you see Kentucky finishing up, and where do you see Tennessee based on not just today's performance? Obviously, today could be you could kind of be an alarmist looking at it from either lens, whether it's through a Kentucky lens or a Tennessee lens. But where do you objectively see Tennessee and Kentucky finishing up the regular season and going into postseason tournament in the NCAA?
So I think that with this loss that Tennessee just took, I think they come off the 1 seed line. I think if they win a game or two in the SEC tournament, they might get a 1 seed back. But if they don't, I think they're going to be a 2 seed for a lock. And then I think Kentucky right now is sitting at a 4 seed. Probably tonight, I see we could get pushed. We were the top 4 seed going into this game. I think we get pushed up to a 3 seed now with this win. And then if we end up winning the SEC tournament, I think we get locked in as a 2. So I best case scenario, I think you could see, Tennessee a 1, Kentucky a 2. I think more realistic, I think it's going to be Kentucky a 2 and Tennessee a 2 going into the tournament. But we'll see. It just depends on, like you said, Tennessee's not really, who gives a rat's ass about the SEC tournament. But at the end of the day, when it comes to seeding, do you want to win a game or two to actually lock in that number 1 seed for sure? But if they don't, then I think they have a number 2 seed lock for sure, no matter what. Even if they get first round knockout, I think they're going to be a 2 seed no matter what.
Naveen, what are your thoughts, man? You think Kentucky gets on the 2 line?
I think they did their best job of it today. Honestly, realistically, 2 or 3 is where I expect them. More realistically, 3 than 2, but anything is possible. They do have the blue blood pedigree, right? So like if you're choosing between Kentucky and some other team, let's say like Auburn or someone else, you're most likely, if you're trying to make some drama or go for ratings, you put Kentucky at the 2, right? That's just a smart business move from NCAA. So I wouldn't be surprised if they make it there. But yeah, I think Kyle's right. Like this loss might put us at the 2. We were talking for the past 2-3 weeks. Like 1 is locked up, but the one thing we couldn't do is lose to fucking Kentucky, and that's what we did. So I won't say the F word that ends with the knee, fire, but that's kind of like how I feel at this point. Like we had it locked up, and then we kind of
Naveen,
you bring that up with the fire Rick Barnes thing. I love it. Just feeding off me from the last time. So I mean, for me, I feel like if Kentucky doesn't make a deep run in the tournament, like we got to really start looking at Calipari and stuff. And I feel like it's the same thing for you guys. If y'all don't make a legit run, at least to the elite 8, you only got 1 elite 8. At least with this team, if you can't get to the elite 8, I think Rick Barnes has got to go.
Yeah, I think it's a valid.
Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes.
It's a valid discussion, but I think what you noticed today was
Kentucky fans would love to see Rick Barnes fired.
Yeah, I think what you noticed
I'm
today.
not,
What
I'm
you
not
noticed
saying
today
it like that.
is
I'm just saying from y'all's perspective. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
Andrew, what do you think?
Yeah, Elite Eight, or we gotta get rid of him. Like, it's it basically shows you what the ceiling is, and we're not gonna get like better recruiting. It's not gonna get any better. Like we saw today, Kentucky has people coming in, and I'll address that in a second, but they come in, the bench players come in, they're able to shoot lights out because they are they're getting the better recruits, right? Like we have ZZ in foul trouble, who comes in for ZZ. Jordan Gainey comes in, or Santiago comes in. They Dillingham gets 2 fouls in 2 minutes. Guess what? Edwards comes in and starts lighting it up. And so Andrew Julian, I would say that 2-point layup out of bounds, fair call, but we also got a makeup call at the end with the goaltending block, and I think the refs really gave it away because they realized that the 2-point was out of bounds. So I don't think a good loss
I
is
would
a hot
agree.
take.
Yeah,
I don't think a good loss is a hot take. I think it's a good loss. Like I thought, despite all the shit, they played like pretty well at the end. Again, like just taking the positives out of it is that they showed that they're able to climb back to a certain degree. Obviously, coming back, tying the game with that 3 and all that would have been great, but at least like they executed. Down 14, they never gave up. So
yeah. So Andrew makes another point here. We got the rebound on the block though. So yeah, no, I get it.
But did they make that shot though? You never know if they're
Right.
gonna.
You never know.
So.
I know we were I think we were only down 3 when that layup was made, when the foot went out of bounds. That would have been huge to kind of take back a little bit of momentum. But man, Andrew, I love you, dude, but Tennessee had its opportunities. Tennessee definitely had its opportunities tonight, and I'm not trying to agree with a Kentucky fan on here by any stretch of the imagination, or Andrew with makeup call, but I will say that was kind of questionable, the above the cylinder tip there.
Yeah.
I mean, after the review, I mean, I looked at it and I was like, man, that looked like it was a block to me.
Yeah, that was
clean block.
But I get it. I mean, even though we got the rebound on that block, you don't know if we're going to score it. So the 2 points kind of cancel. The 2 points kind of cancel out, right?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like it doesn't come down to a single play or a single play here, a single play there. Like despite making it very close at the end, Naveen is right. They came down and just smacked us, and it really, again, like there's no what ifs, sure, but at the end of the day, fair and square loss, and it's not like that those couple of calls just completely altered the outcome. Like trailing for the most of the game, and often falling into a 10+ point lead. I think I counted 4 times we were like, in a 10+ double digit, chasing from the double digit points behind. So it's not like we were leading most of the game and it came down to it. Again, like it takes a whole sort of a team to execute, and there's only like 2 players from our end that showed up today. So can't expect to have that.
It's hard to beat a Kentucky team, especially tonight, when you got like 4 dudes knocking down 3 to 4 dudes knocking down threes just whenever they want. Like it's not just Tennessee, but anybody in the country is just going to struggle to keep up.
Three NBA level players just cooking you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And they were knocking some of them are wide open, and then props to playmaking there. Like I thought Reed Shepard did a really good job finding open folks, but also he himself just drilled tough as shit shots. Like defenders hand all over the face, doesn't matter. Dillingham step back 3. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
For me, like I think there was a huge difference. We have 1 NBA player. They probably have 4.5, 5. So that you don't think Zakai Ziegler's NBA? No. Maybe like NBL, like Australian League or some shit, but not fucking NBA, dude.
CBA, Chinese Basketball Association.
He's not Tyler Ulis.
Yeah. I don't know.
My,
I did
my
look-
sarcasm's off today, guys.
I
Damn.
did notice like a talent
Doubling down.
differential.
I know he's 5'9", guys. Chill.
Yeah,
He'll light it up in Europe. So
yeah, those are my thoughts. I just thought that Shepard. I really didn't watch him play that much. Obviously, I typically mostly would just watch the SEC games when it's Tennessee. So, man, he was hot as shit on.
he might have locked in another SEC freshman of the week. Like it's crazy. So.
Yeah. Well, Kyle, if you don't have anything else, man, we're gonna wrap it up with you, and then kind of talk about Tennessee. I doubt that you want to sit here for that. We're gonna talk about Andrew Julian kind of prefaced that we will talk about SEC champs, and then kind of the way forward for Tennessee, and try to get some more people in here. But again, man, appreciate you coming in. Congratulations on the win.
Yeah.
I wish you nothing but a terrible run in March. So go ahead and give us your last thoughts, and we'll call it.
But like I said, it's been a good run. Like I said, the last few weeks, I think Kentucky's really turned it around. And we've been playing probably the best basketball since the beginning of the season. But again, beginning of the season's against these non-conference nobody teams. Played a couple big games, but really turn it on now against an SEC conference that's top in the country there with the Big 12. Feels really good. I think Big Blue Nation's feeling good about going into March right now. As long as we keep doing what we're doing, kind of keep where we're at defense wise, I think we're going to be good. And as long as our shooters shoot and that ball goes in the basket, we're going to be a tough out. So I'm going with Des Bryant, and we're going to make Final Four. So here we go, baby.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate.
Hope to see y'all there in the Final Four.
We'll hope to see you guys there too if you make it and if we make it. So
let's see who raises the fire coach sign first, Kyle or the three of us. Right. Tune in on the Sunday, last Sunday of March, viewers, and we'll find out who raises the Fire Calipari or Fire Barnes sign first. We might both be like Fire Barnes, Fire Calipari. Hey, do we want to swap coaches? Maybe that's a way to do it.
Yeah,
you get Barnes, we get Calipari.
I wouldn't take Calipari.
No, I don't want Rick Barnes.
You don't even want Calipari. Let's be honest.
I'll keep Calipari unless he gets out first.
What happened to your sign, man? You can't go back off of your sign, bro.
For the beginning of the season, my big thing was he's got to make a deep run in the tournament. If he doesn't, then I'm holding up that sign for sure. So, but I'm sure Naveen's the same way. If he doesn't make, if Rick Barnes takes on a big run, he's going to rip that sign up and I never that sign. That sign did not say Rick Barnes. Y'all didn't see it. It didn't say.
I mean, I don't think St. Peter's is making the dance this year. So at least you don't have to worry about playing St. Peter's from New Jersey. But we'll see, man.
There you go.
I'm excited about March Madness. So I'm sure y'all going to talk about it a bunch on y'all's podcast in the week. So
we'll have you back. We'll have you. We'll have Chase Cox, Sir Big Spur. South Carolina, they're making a lot of waves in the SEC this year and throughout college basketball. So you just never know when Chase Cox is going to pop up, man. He just likes to show up and give you the big spur when you least expect it, man. So
it was good to see overrated. It was good to see overrated Kansas get their ass kicked today, though. So,
hey, we called that. We called that yesterday on the pod. We called it. We said I learned the error of my ways. Never to bet against Kansas on the road. But damn, I called it. I said Houston's going to lay it on them, and they did. So
they did. I think they're one of the biggest overrated teams this year for sure.
Yeah, just don't play them in the field house, and you're good.
Yeah. But
all right, Kyle.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kyle.
Man. Later, bro. All right. So before we get to Andrew's comment here, we got some breaking news. Tennessee Lady Vols in the SEC women's basketball tournament taking on South Carolina. loses a heartbreaker, 73-74 against the undefeated number one team in the country. I know we're not talking Lady Vols on a consistent basis, but man, Kelly Harper's got to go. The inbounds play, they fucking let they let the girl inbound it to just no one near her at the top of the key. Bank shots a 3-pointer to win the game with 1.1 second left. Lady Vols lose just a heart crushing way in front of the folks down in Greenville, South Carolina tonight. And man, I don't know which is worse, losing to Kentucky on senior day or losing like that way. Oh man, hold on a second. We got Sir Big Spur in here. Look at him. I told you, you just never know when he creeps up into the Lucky Top Sports universe. He was lurking. The breaking news comes in. South Carolina beats the Lady Vols in the SEC Women's Tournament. And the person that did it, that was the first 3-pointer made in her career. Thoughts, rapid reaction, Sir Big Spur. Tell us what happened there to the Lady Gamecocks and Lady Vols.
Oh, I don't know. I saw smoke on the mountain over there. Somebody told me it was a wildcat attack. I didn't know.
Jeez, coming in with the heat.
I didn't know. I want to come in here and check on you boys.
Oh man, hey, you just missed Kyle, the Kentucky fan, man. I know you would have loved to talk to him because, hey man,
proud of him.
Yeah, proud of him. Yeah, but he was already taking shots. I mean, South Carolina was catching a few strays before you got on here.
What's shoot us for?
Hey man, he's just not convinced that you guys are a decent team.
Was it the ass whipping we gave him?
And that might have been. That's why
okay.
I wish you would have been on here for that, man.
Yeah, it's just assault.
Hey, I beat a kid up in second grade on the school bus. Every time I pass him, he still talks shit. He don't do it in front of me, but as he's going. But that was 25 years ago, man. Let it go. Let it go.
So you guys are going through Food Line, and you're there in the cereal aisle, and you're trying to figure out which cereal to pick, whether Fruity Pebbles or Corn Pops. And
Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, and he don't know which aisle to go down. He sees you there, and hey man, I live high on the hog where I'm from.
Yeah, we're pebbles full of fruits down here in the bag.
There you go. Great value brand. I got you.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about great value brand defense, and that's kind of like what Tennessee's Lady Vols did on that inbounds play. Man,
I don't want to hear it.
Big.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You want me to tell you why I don't want to hear it?
Why is that?
I make comments 4 or 5 times on here. Hey guys, would you like to talk about women's basketball? You ain't talking about that bullshit. And here we go. You win one game. It's like, hey, Chase, did you hear what happened? No, I heard about the Wildcats, bud. I don't.
Wow.
They lost one game in like 17 years. I mean.
All right, fair enough. So
it changes nothing, dude. Everybody slips. I mean, they've won like 50-some straight home games. I mean, they're the most dominant women's team in the last decade.
No, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. South Carolina beat us, man.
Yeah, no, but it should have been like that.
Okay, I got you.
30-45. But you do slip, you fall. You play like that sometimes. It just is what it is.
Jeez.
So you're more focused on the Wildcats smoking that volunteer pack tonight, huh?
Yeah, I'm wondering what happened. Like, what happened? We were so high the other night, guys. We were all at the top of the mountain. We were all volunteering.
Hey, we're still. Hey, we're still SEC champs, and we went in your building and we gave it to you guys.
Absolutely, man. And I love talking about games that happened, not the most recent one. That's my favorite part too. Did you know that South Carolina beat Alabama in South Carolina in football in like 2012 or 9, something like that? Stephen Garcia was quarterback. It was a great time. Would you like to talk about that or no? No? Okay. I'm just asking how far back we're going to go. We want to talk about the here and now or what we're going to do? I mean, yeah. You won the championship, and then what was the question I asked you after you won the championship and everybody went crazy? What are you going to do now?
Lay the neck, man. Lay the damn egg.
But first weekend, a of March. That's looking likely. They need to wake their ass up and play like something's on the line.
What's good, manager Kobe Bryant scored a pile of points again. So
yeah,
that's
man. I
always
mean,
great.
it's a typical like 2006 Kobe Lakers team. The teammates all suck. You know, he drops a 40, they lose. You know, the comparison just gets closer and closer, man.
I'm gonna start calling him the Caucasian Cottonmouth at this point. It's getting, I mean, it's just the correlation is
Oh
so
my God!
much
See, and
there.
that's why you come here and you listen to this content, because that's where you're
my
gonna hear this. The Caucasian cottonmouth, not the black mamba or the white mamba. It's the Caucasian cottonmouth.
Brandon, put it on a
Put it on a
my
hat.
God.
Put it on a t-shirt.
yeah.
Hey,
We're gonna
hey,
trademark it.
merch guys, Naveen, merch guys. Let's get that on a shirt. Caucasian
Yeah,
cottonmouth.
We'll do
Got to
it.
get it before the tournament starts. Rush
All
order.
right, boys,
Let's
I have
go.
to drop, but it's been fun. We'll chat again next week.
All right, see you, Andy.
All right, bye, Andy.
Shit, man, this was
Man, you ran Chase. You just ran Andy off the reaction show, man.
Well, he hit me with like 3 one-liners. Put it all on YouTube. Him just blasting me.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to like write down some jokes so I can. So when Andy comes on, just start shooting at him real fast. See if I can get one in there.
Wow. Well, man, what was your thought? Did you watch the Tennessee Kentucky game at all? It was on national TV, CBS.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I watched bits and pieces of it, but we had some family stuff today, so I got to see some of it. But then I've just pulled back up the highlights and looked at the box score for everything, and I don't know if Tennessee got burnt there or they're looking towards the SEC tournament. I don't think that they are, because that doesn't sound very Kentucky Tennessee-esque in basketball to overpass and look ahead. Usually they drop a game looking towards Kentucky. Vice versa, Kentucky the same way. So I don't know what truly happened, so I can't really speak on the gameplay. But as an overall, it still looks like Connect went off, and it looks like just like
no
a
one
normal
else
night
showed
in
up.
Tennessee.
Yeah,
like a
Connect
normal night
went
in
off and no one else
Tennessee.
shut up. Yeah.
Connect's gonna go off if everybody else decides to help. They're gonna win the game. If he doesn't decide to help, you don't win.
Yeah.
That's the topic I actually wanted to talk about, man. Like, Kentucky, as Kyle said, like they kind of gave a little bit of a blueprint on what to do, right? Like, they got a little bit lucky with Ziegler going out in the first half, but other than that,
Most definitely.
they let Connect go hard, and everybody else was in a fucking pretzel, man. Like mental pretzel. Could not figure out how to deal with the bigs. Could not hit a shot. Really sloppy. Not that many turnovers, honestly. There were only 7 turnovers in the game, but a lot of like mental mistakes and weird shots. Like, I mean, Santi couldn't hit water from a boat. Everybody else didn't. Gainey played a shit game. Triple J, honestly, I'll give him that. He actually played pretty well today. 8 points, 10 rebounds, though, some blocks. But man, it was a tough performance. And what do we need to do, Josh, to get the show back on the road?
Yo, man, I think if I did that, Tennessee needs to hire me as the next head basketball coach to replace Rick Barnes whenever he decides to retire, or
He looks dead already.
The malcontents run him out. Calm
He
down,
looks
Chase.
like a vampire.
Listen,
Yes.
He does. His eyes, bro.
let me answer the question. Y'all quit beating up on Rick. Let me answer your question.
It's weekend at Bernie's. He don't blink, bro. It's just nonstop with his eyes sucked in. It's
Oh
scary.
my
to look
God.
at him.
All right. We're not going to have any Rick Barnes slander on here, okay? I'm going to
I'm
need
talking
you to
about how
calm
he
down.
looks. He give me a
Yeah, I don't care. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. He hasn't lost in the first weekend in the NCAA tournament yet. So once he does that, if he does that, then he's free game. But
Okay.
there will be no besmirching Deacon Barnes' name on here tonight, okay? He's reigning SEC champion, baby. All right,
Regular
so
season.
yeah, that's right. That's the only one that matters. Regular season SEC championship, not SEC tournament, right?
Tournament doesn't count. That's why we play it.
It doesn't count. The only reason it's played is
I agree.
to give people the opportunity like Missouri,
Yeah.
to get hot and make the
Winner.
NCAA tournament. That's the only reason it's played.
That's it. Yeah, they don't hang
Uh,
banners after that, so I wouldn't do it either.
But anyway, who needs to step up going forward? I think you have to get it from your bigs, man. Jonas Adu, he definitely has to step up. I don't think he played really bad, but there was some times that he got his man card checked at the rim. There was some really bad blocks that Kentucky's big had against him, and again, I've been real critical on his performances against teams that have elite bigs, and it's almost like he kind of turtles up and he goes into a shell, and he kind of vanishes for long stretches, right? And we need better play from our bench. Like our bench didn't help us out. Awaka came in and gave us some minutes. Jordan Gainey, I really don't know what he was doing out there again tonight. Had some turnovers when he came in. Goes in. Rick puts him in for the technical foul shot. He misses that, so living up to his
5.
Yeah, living up to his.
Hey, Vescovi had another great night with 0 points again. Extremely proud of the toughest player y'all got over there in Rocky Top.
Yeah, you missed that. We already kind of covered that a little bit, Chase.
What a scab.
Yeah, so no field goals for Santi. So, I mean, it has to be your senior leaders. I think when we've been successful, we've had multiple guys in double figures, whether it be from Triple J or Jonas. We know Dalton's going to be Dalton, right? But we got to have some other people come in and assist him in his valiant efforts to carry us as far as he's going to be able to. The way I looked at Dalton tonight is he looked like that guy that just kind of an armyism that I've seen in my career sometimes. Is this guy looked like he had an 80-pound rucksack on carrying 2 fuel jugs that were absolutely full after a 12-mile ruck march. He was just destroyed down the stretch. I mean, from all the baggage that he was carrying all night, and man.
And the worst part about somebody like him with a basketball team, basketball is one of the few sports that you as an individual can take over the game. But whenever you play this college year and you get into the 30-plus games and you have carried your team, even when Tennessee wins, he's still the lead scorer. He's still the top guy. It's very rare that you see him able to take a back seat and somebody else lead the charge. When you get to this far in the tournament or get this far in the season and you go into the tournament, at the beginning, adrenaline can carry you some, and the game, and it's March Madness, it's the show, this is it. And then after about the second or third game in the tournament, you see it every year where he's got one guy and he's just like top player of the year and all this and that, and it's like he wears down.
Yeah.
And whenever he falls, if no one's going to pick him back up, Tennessee won't get past Sweet 16.
Yeah. I mean, by the numbers tonight, I think the final ones were Connect had 40 and 4 rebounds. Sakai had 17 points, 9 assists. Adu, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 5 blocks. Triple J, 8 points, 10 rebounds, 2 steals. Meshack, I need more offensive production from Meshack. 2 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals. Gainey, 2 points, and Awaka, 1 single point. And he didn't have any rebounds or anything else. So, that's where I got to see Meshack definitely step up. I want to see Santi step up, but my gosh, this dude is he's a shadow of his old self.
Yeah,
hey
man.
Chase, he's still SEC champion. You guys aren't. So
yeah, no, his team is individually. He's a drama queen.
38 and 5, 2 numbers for you.
Okay,
5 points off the bench for Tennessee, 38 points off the bench for Kentucky.
Ooh,
that really tells the story.
That'll get you beat every time.
Yeah,
every time.
They missed 1 free throw, I think 1, and then we missed 6 or 7. Really not a good showing from the stripe either.
We had the foul shot advantage over them too, so we were getting the whistles.
Yeah, you're
like I said. Tennessee had its opportunities and they did not take advantage of them.
Yep. And that's really the story, right? Like we were riding a high for so many games in a row, right? What did we win? Like 9 or 10 games in a row? basically. And then we
I think it was like 7 or 8. But
Your
yeah.
last loss was South Carolina, wasn't it?
No, it was at Texas A&M.
Okay.
But yeah, man, it's kind of tough to see because we're so close. We got the foot on the gas. We're going through to the good part of March, and then we suffer a tough loss at home. Tough to stomach, but we got to bounce back. So I think what do you think this kind of game and this kind of performance means for Tennessee in the SEC tournament and March Madness? Can we bounce back? What do we need to do?
Well, for me, I really don't think it's more of a bounce back. I don't know. For us, I don't see us really caring too much about the SEC tournament. I know we've kind of belabored that point tonight. I think in March, when the NCAA tournament comes back on, I think we'll have that fire that we had going into the stretch, this last 4-game stretch, when it was like, if you don't win these games, if you don't, prepare the right way, you're not mentally prepared for the game, you're going to lose the SEC championship. I think all of those guys in their minds were locked in, wanting to win that 4-game stretch there at the end. We wound up going 3-1. I thought we'd have to go 4-0, just to carry some good momentum. But at the end of the day, I think bringing that mindset back once March Madness starts, and they're actually in the tournament, they know who they're playing, and there's a little bit more fidelity to what the team has to do. I think they'll be more prepared and more ready to go. And I think, the pucker factor will start, I think, more for some guys, and knowing hey, this is going to be our last opportunity to do it. And if we go home, if we don't prepare the right way and we don't leave it all out there in the court, this was all for nothing. So we don't want to see regular season Rick poke his head back up. We don't want to, have the Barnes bashers coming out left and right. But yeah, man, I think this game in the grand scheme of Tennessee's postseason run, I think it matters very little, honestly.
Yeah, hope you're right, Josh. Chase, you guys got to win. South Carolina won, right, today?
Yeah, we won. Won in overtime.
Yeah, they won at Mississippi State. Yeah.
So, what do you think your chances are in the SEC tournament? You feel a little bit more confident, or do you think this game mattered at all for you, or no?
Well, the Kentucky-Tennessee game, that's SEC basketball. That's just what it is, man. You're going to slip, you're going to fall, you're going to ride a high knee, you're going to fall down and get back up.
Yeah, at the end of it, it was a 4-point loss,
Yeah, and I mean, really, if you go and pick any other competitive conference apart, if you've got top dwellers in there, guys that are all ranked in the top 15, top 20, it happens. The difference in the top, the number 14 in the country and number 4 in the country is usually one player. So that's usually a difference there. The SEC tournament is up for grabs this year. I really think it is. Tennessee is going to be probably your favorite in there. An Alabama, Kentucky's floating their way back into the top, but it's showing right here at the end. It's whoever's going to grind out that SEC tournament, because that's just all it's going to be. It's just going to be a grind out. Whoever's getting a little bit hotter, because I think everybody's kind of hitting their stride here. I think Kentucky's hitting the stride. Tennessee, South Carolina. I think you got 3 guys right there that are all still hitting their stride. And if you looked at Tennessee, South Carolina game, you look at change 2 or 3 possessions, is it still the same score? Kentucky, Tennessee, change 2 or 3 possessions, it's the same score. South Carolina, Kentucky, change 2 or 3 possessions, it's a different game. So anytime you've got games and you've got teams shooting like that, it's going to be a free-for-all in the SEC tournament. One big team will fall early, whether it's Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina, Florida, LSU-ish. One of those are going to die right there at the very beginning, and then it's just going to be a fist fight all the way to the end. I thought South Carolina was going to die out in the semifinals. I don't think so. I think South Carolina is going to be 1, 2, 3 right there in the tournament. We'll get to March Madness. We'll fall out maximum. We're Elite 8 if everybody's clicking on all cylinders. I think we're Sweet 16 and we're gone. But the same way with Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee is going to get further than the Elite Eight this year. And the thing is, like you said, you don't want the Rick Barnes guys to start coming out bashing on us. Now, Rick Barnes is a good coach, and he has been at Tennessee for a while.
Yeah, 9 years. 9 years.
It is time to see Rick Barnes walk a Tennessee that's ranked top 4 in the country, top 3 in the country, top 5. It's time for him to have a team that Rick Barnes walks down and hangs national championship banners. It's been that time. But
Right.
it's almost like Rick Barnes is one of those coaches that's going to keep you in the upper echelon. Echelon.
That's why we
and
call
then
him
you-
regular
and
season
then-
Rick. He
and
keeps us
then-
constantly
and
in the
you
top 10.
fall.
But
So
then
it's
we-
hard to it's
Yeah.
hard to fire those kind of guys. It's so hard to fire those kind of guys. But at the end of the day, he's gonna get bashed because he's got a good team there. He's got it's hard to find Dalton Connects anytime in your
Yeah.
coaching career.
And that's what I was about
It's
to
time.
say. People
It's
can
time.
say fire Rick Barnes, but who found Dalton Connect? Rick Barnes did. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not. I think it's very hyperbolic take to want to fire. And I know Naveen, he's saying that most of that in jest. There is a sliver of truth to it because of the frustration that we've seen over the last few years with not producing when it matters in March. But he consistently keeps us in the hunt, in the fight. But I think it's a hyperbolic take to overreact a little bit and say, "Oh, get rid of him because we lost to Kentucky on Senior Day." When we already locked up the league, the league championship, and we're sitting in a position to be a number 1 seed. Now, I will say, number 1 seeds don't shoot 16% from the floor, so that's what we were doing for the majority of the game. And if we start doing that, we're gonna have a quick exit. But I'll tell you, Rick Barnes, he's gonna be at Tennessee as long as he wants to stay at Tennessee until he's ready to retire. I think he's done enough, and he's put enough hay in the barn, like we say out in the country, or he's built enough equity, as some of the city folks might understand, to stick around. So
And he's old. He's old.
yeah, he's like
He's not he's not a 30-year-old guy. I mean,
right.
he's not coaching. Yeah, I mean, he looks dead right now. And I mean,
Stop
that's
it.
not a shot. That's not a shot at his coaching, but he's a good coach. I'm just saying.
Hey.
He's got like. Have you ever watched Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Yeah.
He has the eyes of the people from the north. It's like
Oh
the
my
north
gosh!
is one thing,
Stop it! Stop it!
And
All
look
right,
at
man.
every time out. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
in general.
All right, Chase.
It's
Well, I
something
appreciate.
Lamont Paris. He's got a
Yeah.
peanut head. I'll say something about him.
That's
I'm
true,
saying
man.
appearance. Rick Barnes
Sure.
he's a great coach, but he looks dead.
Well,
If you
Chase,
put sunglasses on him, it's weekend at Bernie's.
maybe I got a picture of him. I'll send it to you. But anyway, I appreciate you hopping on here, man. I was gonna let you come in and react to Kentucky smoking that loud pack of Volunteers tonight, and want to get your take on that buzzer beater from the breaking news desk of Locked Up Sports. And man, Tennessee taking L's left and right today, except on the baseball field. And we'll talk about that after we drop you. But hey, man,
I'm about to say your baseball's going to be on time this year. I got a good team, real good.
yeah,
team.
we pulled Illinois apart today. I think we beat them like 24-1 or some shit
Y'all
like that.
y'all beat the brakes off of. I'm sitting there going,
I was like, wow.
with South Carolina and Coastal baseball, I'm sitting there looking all the time with that. That's my 2 college teams, and so
Yeah.
and I was sitting there looking, and I was like, my God.
Yeah, it was rough. We've been collecting a lot of hides from Big 12 teams and Big 10 teams over the last couple weeks. Yeah, I mean, it's been bad. I think the only loss we have is that opening weekend tournament down in I think it was like in Texas or somewhere, but we lost to Oklahoma like on a random preseason tournament game. But other than that, that's our lone loss of the year, and we've been cracking those bats. So
South Carolina, Tennessee, that's going to be a good baseball this year.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Good
I mean,
baseball this
SEC, we got the Vandy boys, we'll be playing
Of course.
them. Florida will be good again. You always have to look at Ole Miss, Mississippi State. They won College World Series. LSU, those 3 teams right there has been the past 3 national champions, coming out of the SEC. So Tony V's got them on the right path. I see your Gamecocks down there doing some good stuff too, man, on the baseball diamond. So
we're rolling this year. We'll have a good squad. We got a deep pitching staff finally, and We got some good bats. We had to move some guys in the field last year. The chemistry wasn't right. We still won a ton of games. We were still a great team last year, but we had to move some guys around. Our shortstop, he plays for LSU now, thankfully, because he was horrendous. He made a ground ball. God. I think I could field cowboy boots. If you threw cowboy boots at me, I could field them better than he could field ground balls. So it blew my mind. We drive all the way down there on Saturday just to watch him do one of them right here.
What does he do? Do that again? What does he do? Okay, all right. Nice.
Is this brand new? Is this your first one? So, but anyways, brother, I appreciate you having me. I was just wanting to check on y'all boys. I was riding home.
We're pulse check. We're good.
Well,
we're good.
I didn't know what
it didn't get the blood pressure. It didn't get the blood pressure up too much today.
Brother, I didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
I was looking at the sunset and I saw fire and smoke coming from the west. And I said,
it was rolling over those Smoky Mountains, huh?
And then in the distance, I heard, and I said, oh. I said, I got to check on my Lucky Top, boy, because I know there's a wildcat attack going on.
Oh, no.
And so I slid in, and here y'all are. So y'all good. That's
here we
what
are.
I want to make sure of.
Thanks
and
for
whoever
checking.
the dude is that was shooting strays at South Carolina, tell him he can slide in one of these boxes anytime he wants to. Anytime.
Well, hey, when SEC tournament comes, we're going to be firing a lot more of these shows. So next week is going to be a busy week. SEC tournament week is going to be a busy week for Lucky Top Sports.
Have you both on? Y'all can duke it out.
We can do that.
That'd be great.
I don't know why we were catching strays. We weren't even in attendance. I don't know what you're shooting at us for, but
because we brought you up. We said something about Sir Big Spur Chase Cox. And I think there's a little bit of heat still simmering from he's still burning in the glow of that ass beating that you guys shelled out to them earlier in the year. So
well, bless his heart. Bless his heart.
The way y'all let them up, that light's still burning. So it's okay.
Yeah. It probably would have burnt me too, but we was on the other side of the flamethrower, so I get it. So it'll be all right. But fellas, I appreciate it. Y'all be good.
All right.
I'll
see you, Chase.
Later,
all right, man. Later. All right, man. Wow. Sir Big Spur always bringing in some good heat. Talk to the Lucky Top boys, but Naveen, yeah, man. Where do we go from here, man? You think we're gonna continue to play like we give a shit about the SEC tournament, or do you think it's gonna be Friday night, maybe win that game and then go to the semifinals and kind of see what happens?
Yeah, I don't think there's any situation where we intentionally want to lose or not play our best game, but I think we got to make some business decisions. Like, Dalton's at 30 minutes played, you're within 5 to 10 points either side. You got to start thinking about resting him. Or same thing for Ziegler, same thing for our Adu. We don't have much depth at, many of these positions in terms of scoring, right? So losing Adu, losing Ziegler, losing Connect, those are not risks you want to take as Rick. So I do think that we might see those kind of business decisions kind of be taken. But moreover, man, I think that, one thing to take out of this is SEC play regular season is done, right? We're out of the grind. We just got,
and we came out on top, baby.
We did come out on top. There, you can't take that away from us. I was jokingly saying fire Rick Barnes, but honestly, he did a good job this season. I think that, he managed the score like he had in KD, and, he kind of, gave Dalton the blueprint of how to become a killer, right? Like at the biggest stage. Obviously, now we intermingle with different teams who aren't as used to us, right? So they haven't seen someone like Dalton Connect, and they don't have experience guarding people like us. But I think it's like similar to you can think about today's game as maybe like an NFL in division opponent, right? Like if you play the team enough times, it's very hard to sweep them, right? No matter how much of a differential there is in talent. Hard. Right. It's very hard, right? You to sweep someone like two games. Like obviously we traded home and away. There's like a little weird of a sweep. Usually would happen like home and home, but either way, man, like I don't think it's something to get too down on, right? Like this is the exact same thing as losing to Mississippi State, right? Like we lost to Mississippi State like 3 months ago. Do you dwell on that now?
No, I think it's snapping clear, man.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I know with the football analogy, but
yeah,
on to Nashville, snapping clear. And, I don't think that Tennessee is going to have any issues moving forward. I think that they are a team that's built for tournament runs.
Yeah.
Tennessee is a hard team to scout. Mm-hmm. I know it's easy to say, oh, you just double Dalton Connect. I don't think it's just that easy, right? They run a lot of good things offensively. And our defense, man, if you're not able to run scout team and really scout Tennessee defensively, you're going to run into a lot of problems because Tennessee's they're kind of that base team where they have a great balance between both. You just look at the KenPom ratings, our defensive efficiency, and we've had the hexagon on here or the polygon or whatever gone.
Trapezoid.
Shout out, trapezoid. Shout out to all my math teachers back in Tennessee. They know I probably didn't do well in geometry, but public school system in the state of Tennessee, love it. But yeah, what'd you say? The trapezoid?
The trapezoid.
Trapezoid, not even a gun, but the trapezoid. From all the bracketologists out there, they talk about how all those big analytic numbers come into play, and basically Tennessee is right in the perfect gray area between offensive and defensive efficiency, and it bodes well for teams in the tournament. I think if you look at it overall, you got Purdue, you got Houston, you got Tennessee, UConn, and I think Creighton is sprinkled in there. They're really close there in that trapezoid. So of teams based on certain criterias, you'll have to go and look at the podcast that we had last night. Andy did a great job of breaking that down and sharing that with us, but essentially talks about, those are the teams that are going to be set up for success to be able to make a run in March. And again, I'm calling my shot right now. Tennessee's going to make the Final Four. No doubt in my mind. Rick's going to get it done. And again, it's going to be essentially matchup based like it is every year in the Big Dance. But I think Tennessee's a nightmare matchup for most teams. And then when we see somebody like a Purdue, Houston, UConn in the Final Four, I think we'll be ready to play them. So, what do you think about that, man?
Yeah, like playing this SEC, you got like a Super Bowl every week, basically, right? Like for every 2 games of regular teams, you got one stud that you got to play. That really prepares you, right? I'd say that's also true in Big 12, right? I think you'll see a champion come out of Big 12 or SEC this season, especially because of how much of a grind they were. And I think that's important to keep in mind, right? Like if you're UNC or if you're Duke, right, you got two big games a year. If you're Kansas or if you're Tennessee or if you're Houston, you got 12 big games a year plus a very difficult out of conference schedule. Like we did have those tests early on in Maui. Didn't do too well in the Aloha State, but we kind of recuperated from that. So just want to say that, this is the burden and the curse of being in a very deep division, right? Like you gotta understand that, at any point in time, any team can beat you. They can be wearing blue, maroon, whatever. It doesn't really matter. We do have a huge asset in Dalton Connect. That's a generational talent, college basketball wise, generational scorer. 40-point game, amazing performance. But when you run into a team that recruits very well, I won't say that they're coached very well, but they do recruit good players, NBA players. Like this is what happens sometimes. So that's really my thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, hey, man, I'll be honest with you. Phoenix, we're coming, man. We're coming to Phoenix. I think we're gonna get it done this year. And man, if we don't, then we got to really think long and hard about making some business decisions, kind of like you alluded to earlier. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for us, Naveen. We've been doing it for about an hour. I appreciate all the listeners or viewers that we've had today. Again, we had some chime in, so we want to continue to interact with you guys. So like, share, comment, share us on social media, subscribe to us on Spotify and YouTube. And we're going to continue to keep this coming. Next week, I said it's going to be a busy week. I think we're going to have a little bit. Are we going to have some more boxing this week, Naveen?
Yeah, we got UFC episode coming out in like 2 hours. We're going to be live for the main event. We don't sleep much.
We don't sleep, baby.
So
That's right.
So yeah, I just wanted to keep you guys aware of that, and also like stay tuned with us for SEC tournament. That's going to be big. We're also going to be covering other big
bracketology.
Yeah, bracketology's coming up. We'll do our own show next Sunday. So yeah, like, don't be surprised if the only thing on your feed is Lucky Top, because that's what we're going for.
That's it. All right, guys. Well, for Josh, Naveen, hey, I appreciate everybody coming in. Sucks that we lost on senior day, but Vol faithful, don't worry, don't fret. We still got 3 in orange, and he's gonna take us to Phoenix. Lock it down right now. Lucky Top Sports out. See you on the flip side.
Go Vols.
GBO.